What up, gang? We back with another
guys.
Grand Thumb video because y'all like when we react to these and we like reacting to them.
Definitely.
If you new, hit that subscribe, notification bell, like this video. We're heading into the recreation, the assassination of Donald Trump. If you felt it was staged, if you felt it wasn't,
Let us know down below in the
this
comment section.
video is about to let you know.
Still let us know.
Yeah, let us know your opinion on it. Don't go down there getting all hostile. Just drop your opinion and move on. Don't come in there arguing. Sometimes I like to read some of your arguing comments because it is entertaining.
July 13th, 2024, a mere week and a half ago, former President Trump is holding a rally in Pennsylvania, a vital swing state. He is prepared to accept the Republican nomination in several days. Just minutes into his speech, shots ring out. 3 shots very close together. A round strikes Trump's ear. He ducks. A very amazing man, Corey Comprador, loses his life as an extra 5 shots ring out. Thomas Crook, the shooter, is then eliminated, as far as we know, by a Secret Service counter-sniper team. A lot of things have occurred, and there is a lot of misinformation. A lot of people who don't understand ballistics, who don't understand how guns work. Here at Grand Thumb, my name is Mike. I'm a former Air Force Special Warfare guy. And we have Charles.
I would describe myself in a couple ways. One, I'm a veteran. On certain days there's free breakfast. And also, I'm a Secret Service agent.
Charles is a competition shooter. Of course, we have Micah. How would you describe yourself, Micah?
I shoot thousands of rounds a week and play video games. That's my life.
Together, me,
That
Charles,
sounds fun.
and Micah have fired well over 100,000 rounds as of this year alone. So we shoot a lot, we do a lot of ballistic testing, and today we're going to be recreating the assassination attempt. We're going to be testing ballistics, we're going to be debunking myths, and we're going to be providing the best facts that we currently have as of today. You have to understand, this didn't occur that long ago. Facts are subject to change as more information is released, but from what we know right now, we're as close as we can get to recreating the actual event. Today in Grand Thumb, we recreate the assassination attempt and we test all the myths. Now, before we get into it, we of course have to thank the sponsors. They keep this content free. We have who, Charles?
The Smug Dykes Institute.
The Sonoran Desert Institute. If you're looking to get your start in gunsmithing, they're the people to go to. And Micah, who can we not forget?
Primary Arms, providing with any optics that you might need to also pull a attempted assassin.
There you have it.
like it.
We recommend getting better at shooting, unlike the assassin. So we recommend dry fire. Charles, what's the best way to do that?
Mantis, help you get better for all those doctors in Chicago.
There you have it, and Mantis will turn your weapon into a dry fire machine. We'll be showing it today, and of course, all ammunition provided for by AAC. Let's get into it. So let's go over some quick events right here. We know that Thomas Crooks, the assassin attempter, was spotted at the rally early on with a rangefinder. A rangefinder is going to allow him to gauge the distance of the shot, which is extremely important. Now, we know that between an hour to 30 minutes is when he gained access to the event, and he climbed onto the roof somewhere around 30 minutes prior to. Now, it gets a little hazy at that point. There's still a lot of information coming out, but what we do know is that right before he shot, or he was forced to shoot, two officers attempted to see who was on the roof. When officers boosted up to peek over the roof, they saw Thomas Crooks, who was approximately between 130 to 150 yards away from President Trump.
So yeah, I didn't know that information either.
I didn't know all this either.
I didn't even know they made nothing like that where you could see like test. What do you say? Test the distance.
I'm just shocked that I didn't see this footage or didn't know none of this. But I guess
That's crazy. I think that's the most thing that when I saw this, like afterwards when they. But I guess like I always say, it's always different when it's live.
Yeah, because
like
so much is happening
compared to when you replay it and say, "Oh, you could have did this, could this."
Yeah.
But I always say that because they did say like people noticed them walking over there and then climbing on top of a building, and then it kind of like was just like, "Oh,
he's just
we just see him."
Yeah,
but nobody
cared to say
jumped on it.
Yeah,
that's what gets
it's like you probably didn't think nothing of it. You didn't want to
But
think
a
like,
random
I'm just
person
gonna
that's
do
jumping
that.
on a building like you, the presidential, you should have been like, and then he was carrying what he was carrying. That gun ain't little that he was carrying. It's like you saw.
Imagine. Oh
That's
my
what's
gosh.
crazy. That's
I didn't
the
know
crazy
people
part.
seen him. That's crazy.
But I mean, what do you? I guess I don't say what did you do in that situation because I'm trying to put myself. If I was there, if I saw somebody, I'd be like, "Hey, y'all see him over there?" Like, yo.
I'm like, it's time to go.
Yeah, do you warn the authorities?
I don't know. See, that's
That's
what's
crazy.
one
You
of
get
those moments,
yourself to safety.
Yeah, like it's
You
one
be
of
like,
those-
hey,
you
hey.
pass the message, be like, look, Don't say nothing, don't look. But
Because y'all know in the black delegation, we see somebody run, we run with them. You don't ask questions, you just take off. That is the black delegated card. That right there. You see somebody, you don't say, hey, what would you run for? You, oh, I'm with you. You know, and then you get to your destination and you find out. You're like, okay.
They just looked and thought like, oh, that's normal.
When the cop peeked over the top, Thomas Crooks turned his rifle towards him. The cop dropped back down. Thomas then turned back, got behind the rifle, and from the first shot to his demise was 10 seconds. He fired 3 initial shots. One grazed Trump's ear. At that point, the Secret Service was able to dive onto Trump to protect him with their bodies.
I was not informed
and then
about.
He fired 5 more rapid fire, during which time I would say a hero, Corey Comprador, dove upon his family to protect their lives, and we really do have to point out that a really great man did lose his life. Now at that point, Thomas Crooks, was eliminated. So what we're going to be testing today is recreating both the assassination attempt as well as debunking a lot of theories that we've heard. So we're going to start with debunking those theories.
You know what, this is a question I like. What I'm glad it came up again. We asked that in the beginning because we want your opinions. So I feel watching something, my opinion on it, was it staged? I don't like to use that because there were people who died.
Definitely.
Like that man lost his life.
Sorry, y'all saying like he got to take one for the team and
like he lost his life protecting his family, and then there was other people who were hit. People saw somebody's brain splattered sitting there. There was people like, and I feel like when you say, "Oh, it's staged," like you said, is these people out here sacrificing their lives to die for a staged event? And who out here staging people to die? And then you got people
that did not go as planned, and then someone ended up getting hit. You know,
I don't like the term like stage when people die in the event. I don't like that's just weird to me, and that's just our opinion. Like everybody can have it. Like I said, you can have your debate down below, but to me personally, I don't feel like it was staged. I feel like it was a natural hit, because I would say this: if that bullet that did graze Trump's ear was 1 inch, and they say, I'm pretty sure they're gonna show us on here when he turned. Yeah. If he was hit, are we saying it's staged again? If he really got hit in the head and he passed away, are we saying, oh, you know what, staged? It was staged. People die.
But then it's like goes to show you, like some people say like, oh, it just goes to show you how far they're willing to go to make it look somewhat real, or like he was really, you know,
and like how we become that brainwashed society to think something can be. Are we like that far out there that we thinking like events like this can be like, oh, it's a stage? How we become that far with the internet to be like, is this real or not?
Yeah,
that's where we at now in life. Is it real or not? That's sad.
It's like that. Show, is it cake or not?
Yeah. It's crazy.
The first theory that we're going to debunk, which is incredibly ignorant because it's promoted by those who don't understand weapons at all, is that this was staged and the shooter, Thomas Crooks, actually wanted to hit Trump's ear and nothing else for the optics of the occasion, right? To get a boost in the polls. We're going to debunk that, and I think those watching who may disagree with the whole events as it actually happens are going to be very surprised on how not possible a shot like that is.
Let's delve into it. Now, there is some concern about how far was the shooter from President Trump. That's still being figured out. But right now we have it about the midpoint of 140 yards. So right here, what we have is your typical lower tiered AR. So the shooter had a inexpensive AR-15. So the first thing that we have to understand is that rounds, when they are fired, do not travel and hit the exact point every time. There are inconsistencies in the manufacturing of the slug and the amount of powder charge in the brass and how the barrel is flexing as that slug travels down it. So how we describe that as a shooter is there is essentially a circle. So if I'm aiming at the center point, there is an inherent accuracy that a rifle has a potential for. This is typically measured in inches at 100 yards. So your typical AR-15, your typical military M4 will have about 2 to 3 inch circle that it can reliably fire into at 100 yards. So being that Thomas was using an AR-15, a lower grade one, that's probably closer to the 3 inch mark, or as a shooter would say, the 3 MOA mark. So you have to understand at 140, that's going to be approximately 4.5 to 5 inches at 140 to 150 yards.
That's crazy.
So when we talk about a shot that's going to be piercing the ear, that is mechanically for the weapon going to be impossible to make that precise of a shot. Now, there are weapons that do have that precision and that can do it, but is an AR-15 going to be able to do that? Micah, your typical bottom of the barrel?
Absolutely not.
So what we're going to do is we're going to show that first with a lower tiered AR, and then we'll bring out one of the most accurate AR-15s that we have, and we will attempt that. And even our most accurate AR-15s are shooting about 0.8 of an inch at 150.
Still over an inch.
Still over an inch, still over the size of the ear, especially given the angle. Trump's ears are kind of large, but you know, it is what it is. Okay, I'm going to be taking 3 shots now, and I want to be very clear, I cannot even see the ears. But I'll guess if I was intentionally trying to shoot them, this would be a hard shot. All right, Charles, you on glass?
On glass.
On you.
You didn't even hit it. Didn't hit it. Oh, there you go. 1.
Okay, I'm over 3 shots. I'm just trying. Okay, so to be clear, we're using about your factory standard ammo, which isn't super accurate either, and even the same aiming point at this, I'm not precise enough to make reliable hits, let alone on the very small inside box of the head, which is where the CNS is and everything, but let alone the ear. What I'll do at this point is I'm going to break out our most accurate weapon with the most accurate ammunition we have and a magnified optic. I'm going to attempt to make this shot.
Clear.
Wow. So already the point. See, this is science that obviously probably a lot of us didn't know. So first point is the scope, which he used. He couldn't even see the target really.
Not really, you know.
Secondly, this is a professional shooter, and he missed 4 or 5 rounds before he even made contact.
Mm-hmm.
So that shot that he shot was like a shot of luck. It was either you gonna hit or you wasn't. It wasn't no like, oh, you accurate and got aim. It was like a shot of either you hit him or you don't. And then this weapon right here is about to prove he probably accurate.
Okay, we have an infinitely better gun. We have what's called the Mark 12. This is very accurate, firing 77 grain Sierra match.
This is an upgrade. He just showed you an upgraded version of the AR.
You know what?
To show you
I'm
what
a
it can
much
do.
better shot than that.
But that first gun is what the real shooter
Let's
had.
give this a shot.
See?
I didn't even hit.
So I'm trying not to hit the head right now
Okay.
because obviously I don't want to kill my target if I'm just trying to maim him.
Left ear or right ear?
Right, the left ear.
Oh, that was
About
close.
half an inch off the ear.
Was that through his head?
Yeah.
Well, you failed your mission.
Oh my god.
Yeah! I did it! Okay. Well, in a high-stress situation, after having just been surprised by a cop, I swing around my highly precise Mark 12 rifle as a trained military shooter, and I'm able to hit the air after putting it around through former President Trump's head. This is not realistic, guys. For the weapon that he used, it was not possible. This makes it more likely, but still not a guarantee. He would have needed a precision weapon to make the shot. This is 100% false. He did not try to hit the ear. That was merely a miss. I would say an act of God because Trump's going to be president. The next myth that we're going to bust is the myth that his ear would have exploded from the force of the projectile either coming close or impacting his ear. So what we have right here is ballistic gelatin. This is an approximation of human flesh. So right here we have about 1 inch in thickness, and this is going to replicate the cartilage of the ear. This is actually a fairly good analog. And we're actually going to be a little bit closer than the shooter, clearly, but this actually is going to impart more force onto the quote-unquote ear. So we're going to be starting with more than likely what he used, which is a 55 grain projectile, and we'll then walk it up to an even more powerful hunting type projectile to see how those both would affect cartilage.
When Mike originally proposed something in inch thickness, I was willing to stand in front of that shot.
Oh!
Oh goodness, that thing sounds crazy.
That hit it?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
You couldn't even tell it hit.
Yeah, it didn't shake or nothing.
Okay, so let's take a look at that right here. Here is our impact, and there is the clean hole. There is the clean exit. Now, you might be confused. You might be wondering to yourself, why did this do so little damage? Well, it actually comes down to how the 5.56 works. The 5.56 is an incredibly lethal round. However, it needs to reach those vital organs in the body before it begins to impart its damage. So 556, when it enters the human body or enters flesh, typically doesn't begin to tumble for at least 6 to 10 inches, at which point the round will begin to break apart, will begin to spin and yaw, and that's by design. So hitting such a thin piece of flesh, this is par for the course for 556, where it doesn't do that much damage and it pencils in and out. In fact, with certain rounds, even through very skinny individuals, they'll pass in and out without imparting a whole lot of damage.
Man, you learn something new every day over here.
That's crazy.
Just got educated within 5 minutes. And I'm here thinking like a big round, like he said it has to go a certain amount of inches to expand. But you see the way it expanded in there, so if it hits your body.
It kind of went like a little.
So I might fit the skinny. Like if it hit me, it might just go through.
Oh my gosh, I can't.
So a big person could be in trouble with this round because it's
gonna expand.
But that makes sense why his ear was. So that means it just bloop.
The little drop of water.
Wow, that is.
Can you imagine?
And if I have any people like that, that's like gun enthusiasts in the comments, like I know your guns, like drop some more knowledge. Like that's crazy. Like I'm not big on. Like I like guns, but I'm not like educated. Is what they talking about.
That sounds so horrible. I like guns, but I'm not educated.
I don't got none. But I ain't a dummy. Like I would rather learn and shoot it properly.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've been to the range and stuff, like but instructor. But I ain't never been like educated like
definitely.
this. I'm talking about the scientific part of it, like how a bullet travels, the time, the speed, all that stuff. Like that's crazy. And it this right here just shuts up those internet thumpers that go in there real quick. It was fake. But you learn, this is what you, just go watch this and you'll be like, okay.
Yeah.
I was wrong.
It makes more sense because like you said, the science behind it, and like you kind of think like, he makes a point.
Yeah.
He makes a point.
This all you need to get your point proven? Like, dang,
Definitely.
okay, that makes sense. Why his ear didn't explode?
Well, I thought it would have bled, but it didn't, because when he did this and did this, it was nothing.
He had
on
a little
his
bit.
hand.
He had a little bit down there. And how much blood is actually, that's another educational thing you gotta think. How much blood probably is actually in here when this get hit?
True,
it ain't like it's hitting here, it's hitting the little cartilage. So how much blood you really gonna expect? See, now I need the ear broke down.
Definitely.
So how much blood gonna come out of here?
Topic.
The next question is some people have said if Trump hadn't have turned his head, that round would have passed through the back of his skull, killing him. Let's go ahead and let's see. We have the firing pin removed from this particular rifle, the magazine out, and capable of firing. So what we're doing is we're looking through a high-powered optic to kind of better visualize it. But in our sight picture, we have Charles. So if I'm aiming at the head, you can see as he's turning that's vastly changing my shot from the head, the temple, to the ear.
That's crazy.
And
like
given the variability of the AR-15 when it's firing, there's going to be a very stark difference between the impact due to the mechanical accuracy problems with the AR-15. So we just wanted to visualize that for you guys with a nice optic, and you can imagine on a red dot how difficult that would be. Do you have a friend who's difficult to buy for, or are you indecisive in yourself and you just want to get a cool box of gun-related and tactical stuff? Well, do we have product for you? Now, this video is brought to you by TacPack. TacPack is a subscription service. There are 2 tiers. First tier is going to cost you about $60. You're going to get between $90 to $120 value per box. And the second tier is going to cost $139.99. It's going to give you between $240 and $300 value. The box that we have right here that we just opened up, we got a lot of cool stuff. We got some Razer headphones. We have a Radiant charging handle, which is our personal favorite here on the channel. Nice BCG, and you can never have enough bolt carrier. We have some gloves in here, of course, a shirt, Reptilia grip. These are all great products. We're not getting bottom of the barrel stuff. You never know what you're gonna get, but it is always helpful for the gun connoisseurs. Make sure if you're ordering to use code GRANDTHUMB. That's gonna give you a free EDC kit worth over $65. Now, my favorite part, we're going to be showing the counter sniper shot on Thomas Crooks that took his life for being a ginormous piece of shit. So what we have right here is a Mark 30.
Wait, what? He took his own life?
No, they shot him. He said they shot him.
No, I thought he was talking about the sniper.
Yeah, the sniper that shot the shooter.
Oh, I thought he meant the sniper because that sniper dude did get a lot of backlash because they said they saw him before, and I thought he meant the sniper guy.
I mean, I think unless I'm wrong,
I don't know how I heard that. Let me.
13 Mod 5. Now, the Secret Service counter sniper teams use a Mark 13 Mod 7. The difference being in a newer chassis, but it is the same heart of the weapon. We still have a Remington 700 long action and 300 Winchester Magnum. If you've never seen a 300 Winchester Magnum, you have 5.56. So we have a 5.56 round right here. That's from your typical AR-15 that Thomas Cook is firing. You versus the guy she told you not to worry about. This is a long-range precision cartridge. This weapon is deadly accurate, as we can see. And this will regularly print far under an inch on paper at 100 and can easily make those very precise small shots, which is why it is used not just by the Secret Service, but by multiple military special operations around the world. Now, the shot from the counter sniper team was actually quite close at about 130 yards. Now, we know from the first shots that Thomas Crooks took to 10 seconds later, he was then dead. That is wonderful reaction time. Let's go ahead and let's see what that would have looked like through the optic, what it would have looked like in slow motion, and see the approximate damage it would have done. There's a lot of variables here. We do have the photo of Thomas Crooks post-mortem, although we can't show it due to YouTube rules, but there are some unknowns, but we believe right now the round entered somewhere around just below his left temple and exited somewhere around his neck. Again, ballistics is wild. We might not see the same, we probably will not see the same results with this particular shot, but it will give you an indication of just how powerful the 300 Winchester Magnum is. So right here we have the Mark 13 Mod 5. We're going to be shooting at 130. To start with, I'm going to be shooting on paper so that you guys can see what the recoil looks like through the optic. As I'm firing, you can see what I see. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to go ahead and take a shot at the paper so you guys can see what that looks like. And that was straight through the head right there. And what we're going to look at now is you're going to look at what a head would look like at the approximate zoom range that he was at through his optic. So a couple things to note here is that it looked like there are two positions for the lever on the Night Force ATACR that they were running. So we have it at the second position. So we could be off on our magnification level compared to where they were at. They were probably zoomed out pretty far to get like a wide picture of what was going on. But nonetheless, this is good for illustrative purposes. So now I'm going to take one more shot so you can see what that recoil looks like.
That recoil is crazy.
You can see this gun is dead on accurate. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and take a shot at the skull so you can see what the Secret Service counter sniper would have seen through his optic as he sent another person to hell. All right.
There's the skull.
But why didn't it do that to him?
We don't know. We never seen it.
So as you can see, through the optic, we had a whole lot of mist. The head was completely vaporized. Now you have to understand that depending on the ammunition that was used, a lot of factors, the head can behave differently when it's hit depending on where. If it's more of a fleshy portion, you're not going to blow up the brain quite as much. But this was good illustrative to show the extreme power of the 300 Winchester Magnum and the fact that if you notice, I didn't do any holds. That means I wasn't have to aim above or below depending on where the round was going to impact, because within about the first 300, you have very little drop. The 300 Winchester Magnum is an absolute laser beam at these distances. The ammunition that we were using was military ammunition known as Mark 248 Mod 0. This is a possibility, or they could have been using even better civilian ammunition that would have been more accurate. So a good representation. In any case, the counter sniper team did excellent. They sent that man to hell, and no more damage was done than was already done, and much tragedy was averted. So with all those things being done, let's go ahead and let's wrap this up.
That's crazy how that head exploded.
Definitely from that.
We've finished all of our tests. I think we've conclusively proven that he did try to take the shot. There's no way that he was able to try to shoot trumps here, that anything so far that would indicate that this was a hoax. An amazing man died. He wasn't just not firing. So we've been able to educate you, to provide context, to provide ballistic performance so that you understand better what was going on behind the shooting as we know right now. Obviously, more information doesn't come out. If something crazy comes out that changes everything, we'll do another video. But as it stands right now and the information that we have, this is pretty true to form. We're not going to make any comments on tactics, procedures, or anything like that because my background is on protective security details. That was never my background. My background is in firearms. My background is in ballistics and military. So we'll leave that to other experts to talk about, but we just wanted to provide that firearm context.
That's crazy.
I love their videos.
Definitely. And I feel like now we kind of have more of an understanding. Like you said, like we're not educated as much as like he is, the science behind it.
Yeah.
It always it's just, how do you say, like it's always just a different, I can't think of the word, like I'm drawing blanks here. Get it? But it's different when you see the science behind it, when you see the examples that he uses, and as far as like the different bullet sizes and stuff like that. So if now that I think about it, they might have used that small bullet because if they used that big one, his head would have exploded, right?
And it could have, because we don't know. I'm pretty sure the photos is out there somewhere.
But still, like that,
it's crazy. It's crazy. But I didn't. So I learned a lot. Not only just the educational part of the bullets and all that, and then what the rounds could do. I also didn't know the part of the cop saw him, he panicked, and then came back up and fired. So now that gives me another perspective of if that cop never saw him, that's another thing. So you got the thing where Trump turns his head. That's a key part.
That keeps him from getting hit. Totally left.
And then now, if that cop never spotted him, does all three of those shots, or at least two, hit him?
Can it have kept going?
No, because the Secret Service runs out there, so that's their job.
No, like the guy, he could have kept shooting.
Yeah, but he would have got hit by that Secret Service. He would have got smacked. He probably would have still got hit in 10 seconds.
Oh, okay.
But I think he could have done more damage if the cop didn't see him and he panicked and startled. I think he had a cleaner shot sitting there because I think he could have sat there and really aimed and really got and then fired and then probably had a more serious impact, but because he was startled, then had to come back up. It was quick rounds to be fired because now I think he's more or less, they gonna see me, I'm about to get shot. I gotta hurry to get these shots off.
Yeah, makes sense.
So I didn't know that part, which is crazy. But this was a crazy video to react to. Definitely. It's crazy just in general. Like I said, reacting to them, you just get so much knowledge on guns and what they can do and how they impact the body when they hit the body, what they do.
I think it's cool when they do the dummy and it shows like the bones and it has like the blood and everything. Like I feel like when they do stuff like that, like I like those because it just kind of gives you more of a image. If that makes sense. Yeah. Like the little block for the ear, it was like, but
I don't just feel like we gotta do better as humans too when it comes to like, I feel like the generation we in now, and not even saying generation, but like where we're at now with like technology. Death has become
the new norm.
It doesn't matter if you like a person or not. I just feel like people just be like happy about somebody dying for the simplest things. Like I could dislike you and don't feel like I wish death upon you. And I feel like with politics, that's what happens a lot. Like because you don't like that president, you feel like, oh, if they die, then that's dumb. Or like even like I just seen a video today with the protests. A car ran through there and ran somebody over, and somebody's in a coma for it. And then there's just a bunch of people saying like, oh, well, they shouldn't be in the street. That's where cars belong. So somebody's life pretty much almost being taken because you're not happy with what they're doing.
Or what's going on.
Their life is, it's okay for somebody's life to be taken when they're not a threat is what I'm saying. They're not a threat.
When you knew dang well what they were doing, but you still decided to run them over.
That's crazy. And the same thing like president. If you don't like him, you're happy if he ended up gone. Somebody will be celebrating that, saying like, oh, what is he doing that's so detrimental, like that death? He's not personally coming to my door and doing something to me. So I just feel like that's where we come as a society. If we disagree, death is okay. Yeah, like they deserve death. That makes me, that's just crazy. But this video was so amazing, like I said, just to see the science.
I feel so educated on
I know, I feel like, man, I'm about to go just go in the gun rabbit hole of just learning about stuff. Now I see now. Like I said, I've been to the range like twice. I got a few buddies that was military. I went to the range with them. And then I went to the range with, we got some family members that's like big into guns and they go shooting all the time. We went with them. And just shooting them, you get a little education and learning about
But
what
I
they
think the
teach you.
science behind
But like,
it
yeah,
is
like
totally
this part now, I
different.
can see why people are like gun enthusiasts and get involved in it because you just learn when you learn about this part. Like, I want to go shoot that gun and see what it can do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dang, okay, now I might be down a rabbit hole of guns. Y'all about to catch me right over here.
Anyways,
See me on the next thing. Y'all might see some videos of me at the range now. Find it out. Don't find out. Y'all gonna find out. Y'all might have started something over here. Y'all might have got a new hobby started.
anyways.
What y'all doing? But anyways, thank y'all for tuning in with us. Let us know what y'all thought. Y'all opinions down below on this video. Love y'all. See y'all in the next one.